Hey, everybody. Welcome to Bearded Baker Banter. It's the sports podcast. Welcome, Trent. Welcome, Trey.
What's up, guys?
Hey, boys. How we doing on this fine evening?
Ooh, I'm just going to, can I just say this, get this off my chest right now? The more that intro builds, dude, and when we start to go video, I think people are going to love it. It's going to be awesome.
You feel it?
Yeah.
I'm
excited.
You feel it?
I'm feeling it, man. Anybody can see us in the backstage. You can see us dancing.
Oh, yeah. The plums, Trey. I know where you're going with that, Trey.
Yeah, all right. I was going to put it out there.
The bluish hue.
Bluish hue. Yeah, jeez.
Hey, you know what I could feel down my plums today was the NFL. A little bit of the NFL's back this week. With all the combine and working towards the draft. And tell you what,
what they do for your
great.
plums?
You know.
All right.
At least we hopefully don't have any like Chris Jones replicas where the plums fall out in the middle of the 40. If you recall,
right? Yeah.
I don't know if you guys caught his interview talking about that with the Kelsey brothers, where he's like, I'm like mid stride, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh man, it fell out. And Jason Kelsey goes, wow, at least you can actually like say you felt it fell out. It's so messed up. But anyway,
that's awesome. No, there was definitely we'll talk a little combine here in a little bit. Because there was some interesting, times and things like that came out. It's also interesting to see some of the guys that aren't really participating in anything, which, I guess when you can make millions of dollars in college ball now, you don't really have to prove anything as much.
Yeah.
But
I'm like here. I mean, you brought it up right now. I'm just saying, I don't know if I have an issue with it. Guys, we got guys that I know they do it for a living of mock drafts, but like you go there and just have one bad exercise or one bad day, and it's like it can cost you significant amounts of money in your career. So it's like, You know what? Put everything on tape that you did. If you have good enough tape, let it ride. If a team wants to draft me, take me. Like I don't care. I think people just want football so bad right now that they want everybody doing it. Like that's it's how everything is progressively changing now that you can pay college athletes.
Right.
So
I usually say I agree with you, Trent. Like I selfishly want to see these top prospects go through the combine and get a sneak peek of them and stuff. But you're right. If you're at the top of your position, or the top 5 in your position, and you got nothing to prove, like why even give the chance to plant doubt in a team's mind? You know what I mean? Like if you're already at the top, you have a bad day, and all of a sudden your draft stock crumbles, that can cost you a couple $100,000 or a couple million, depending on what, like your fallback. So I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think they have to do it. I just selfishly want to see them do
it. Can I play devil's advocate then? Because I think you guys would both agree on my stance on this then. What it reminds me of, though, is how guys are now just backing out of bowl games, out of championship games. Yes, it is. It's the same thing.
Much different.
No, it's the same. It's the same thing.
In bowl games, you're letting down your team. You're taking away from your team's ability to perform at their best. If you're sitting out of an individual combine for your own well-being, you're not hurting anyone or helping anyone but yourself.
I see a lot of stuff. I mean, it goes back to the whole change of college sports, in general, and specifically we'll talk about NCAA football. I mean, it's money, transfer portal now, and now you're just, I don't know. It was never like this. And, hey, maybe it's for the best. I don't know. Maybe in the long run, we'll look back at this and be like, wow, pretty awesome that they did that. And thankfully they did away with this. And thankfully guys sitting out and guys not doing this. I don't know. Maybe it's more of an attitude thing for me. Like go compete against the other top athletes. And I think that's where I'm a little salty, I guess, about it is like, hey, if you got, you're a top quarterback. All right, then go ahead and throw against the other top quarterbacks. Let's see who really the best is. And I know what you guys are saying. I know what you're saying is that, one bad drill, but at the same time, it's like, if you're that good, then I don't know.
Well, my thing is if you're not the cream of the crop top, yeah, you should, right? You should try to.
Trey, I'm glad you brought that back because I talked about this the other day.
Yeah, but no, like if you're not, then you can elevate your draft stock and you can move up in the draft. And if you're not one of those top 3 to 5 guys, then yeah, Tyler, I agree with you. Prove that you deserve to be among them and in the discussion of the best. But I don't know, like these D backs or tight ends or DNs that aren't participating. A lot of it, I think, is due to injury. Like who's Brock Bowers, the tight end. I know he's not going to participate tomorrow.
Yeah.
Either is the odd cornerback from Iowa, but those guys are coming off injury, so that's a little different. But I don't know. I hear what you're saying about the bowl games. That is frustrating, especially from a betting standpoint too. I mean, holy crap, trying to keep track of everyone. But
Right.
with the combine, I think it's a independent individual event rather than a team thing. So I think that changes it.
Tell me this much, and his name's slipping me right now. The LSU wide receiver,
Neighbors.
Yeah,
Malik
he's
Neighbors?
not participating, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Trent, do you know that?
Harrison's definitely not. That's the only one that I know
Well-
wide receiver wise. I don't think Neighbors. I don't know if Neighbors has to. I don't think he is. I think Odunze is.
Okay, so that was here. So real quick, that kind of takes me to another point. I'm glad you brought that up. So it says right now, I just found an article. It says Neighbors will not do combine drills. All right. So now you have, let's say, your top 3 wide receivers in the draft. You have Neighbors, you have Marvin Harrison Jr., and then you have Odunze, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if those 2 are not doing it, but Odunze is, like, what I'm saying is, like, how do you compare them? Like, I know you're comparing on tape, but like,
it doesn't matter. It once again, it just does. I don't think it matters enough. It's like,
well, I think
I mean, it really, like, here's the thing: is nothing you do in that single workout is going to make you pass Marvin Harrison Jr. at the top wide receiver.
Exactly.
And I think these guys are seeing that, hey, my ceiling can't really get any higher. Right? Like Neighbors and Harrison, no, they're probably top 5 at this rate. Okay. They're both top 5 guys. Whereas Odunze is probably trying to say, hey, I don't want to slip to the 20s. I want to get at least taken potentially top 10 or even maybe in the teens. Like, it makes sense for him, but that's the thing, is I don't think it's competing against others as much as just not blowing it for yourself. In reality, I just think there's too much more that can go wrong than can go right. Because if Odunze goes out and catches everything that comes his way, yeah, we saw that already. We know he's a legit stud, right? He's gonna run what, a 4.3, 4.3, 4.4. Who knows nowadays? Because we got freaking linemen, defensive guys that are running 4.3s and 4.4s. But it's like, it just, like I said, I think there's more risk than there is reward for a lot of guys, especially the guys that are already projected way up, or potential way. I don't know. It's just the way it is.
That's fair.
And the difference is now too, guys, is okay, getting drafted in the teens rather than the top 10. I know maybe initial rookie contract, it's a money difference, but they also, now that you can get paid in college, they have a lot more money coming into the league now too.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's true. I guess it would, I could see your point. I guess you're right, because let's say somebody, I don't know, look at what's his name in the Seattle wide receiver now.
Oh my gosh, Metcalf, DK
Metcalf, right? Like, I mean, he had a hell of a combine,
right?
And I don't think he would have went where he went if he didn't have a combine the way he did. So, maybe in the sense of looking at, let's say, an Odunze guy, is maybe he blows people away, and they're like, well, shit, like Marvin Harrison, Odunze,
not a chance.
I'm not okay. I'm not. Okay, it's hypothetical. I'm not saying that they are, but I'm saying like it can only help him. It's not dumb.
He won't even get drafted over Neighbors. There ain't no chance.
That's crazy.
Come on, Ty.
Definitely.
Come on, put your beer where your mouth is, Ty.
See,
Neighbors goes off the board before
Tyler,
Odunze.
I'm gonna mediate this. Don't do it. That's a stupid bet, and you're just gonna give Trent another beer.
Stop talking, Trey.
Like, why don't you ever take these beer bets with me, Tyler?
I do take those beer bets. Here's my thought process though, is that I bet on Washington all year long.
Yeah, ride it.
Every single beer bet.
You ride it. Odunze. He gonna catch another one?
Uh-oh.
An L.
I'll say this. You know,
come on, Ty.
If anybody takes him over, say a top guy, it'd be like the Raiders. They always draft guys that should be lower or higher.
Yeah, you're right, Ty. Who knows? Ty, Raiders are trading up. Maybe they do it.
Yeah. I'll stay away for this one.
Oh, okay, kitty cat.
Oh man,
come on, Trey. Where's the kitty cat call out? Come on.
No, I'm not getting involved because that's a stupid bet, and
you call me out every time I turn a beer bet down. Oh,
yeah, because you want like the money line on like a 10-point favorite. Like,
nah, that's outrageous. That's you. Anyway, all right. Well, hey, talking of money, free agency talk hitting here. What, end of March, I think. But also, I guess it's really kicking off with the franchise tags. Tyler, you said you wanted to go in a direction here. What were you keeping an eye on?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a lot of controversy last year around this position, and I really think that controversy hasn't really gone away. It's changed. The conversation's changed a little bit. The conversation position I'm talking about is a running back position. I know last year there was a lot of controversy. You know, they're not getting paid enough. They're not getting big contracts. You know, it's just the whole controversy. And then there was, you know, the whole rumor about, and I guess not rumor, but more confirmed, that the running backs held like a Zoom call. You know, how are they going to do this? How are they going to do that? Everybody's getting franchise tags. So it's a position that's tough because they are very far and few between, if that's the phrase. And a lot of these top backs now that, you know, at the end of last year were franchise tagged or, you know, really kind of looking at free agency now. So, I mean, 5 running backs. Go ahead.
No, it's weird because the majority of them who we thought were going to get tagged and they refused to sign their tags, they ended up they didn't get tagged. They like agreed to like a 1-year deal that wasn't a tag, which still kind of blew my mind because I'm like, didn't that just open it up for them to tag you the next year?
Right.
And like, I think even we had the conversation on like Barkley of like, he had to have like worked that into his deal of like, okay, like you can't tag me next year. And then we find out, no, that wasn't the case at all. So like even Josh Jacobs like sat out, you know, all camp, started the season, luckily, but like he didn't get franchise tagged. He signed a 1-year deal for like just as much money as a franchise tag would have gave him. But anyway, go ahead. Top 5, you said?
Yeah, top 5. I mean, this came from ESPN. Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Austin Eckler, Tony Pollard, and Saquon Barkley. Obviously some big names, you know, so, and it really, like I said, you go back to the age of, you know, NFL players in general, but like, I don't know. I mean, some of these guys you could argue are in their prime. I mean, Barkley for one, as long as he stays healthy. You could make the argument too. Yeah, I know. The argument too with Josh Jacobs. I thought Josh Jacobs had a pretty decent year this past year, and I thought it was kind of a shoo-in that he'd be back, especially with the hiring and, you know, with the new coach and the way that the team's going, the directions it's going. You know, I thought he was a shoo-in. I kind of saw the writing on the wall for Eckler. Derrick Henry has been a name that's been floating around a lot. And then, I mean, Tony Pollard didn't have Tony Pollard season of the past, in my opinion. This past year, I know he came back off an injury. But I don't know. I would say, you know, you guys want to rank them? You guys, you know, any insight on, you know, where you think they're going?
I've got a couple quick things to say about almost each one here. Jacobs one is they are close. They're getting very close to a deal. Raiders, Josh Jacobs. So I think that is going to happen. And I think it is because I think Antonio Pierce, I think that's one of his guys.
So that's why I was surprised that he was a name out there.
The other one is Saquon Barkley. I think everybody jumped on real quick, even ourselves, saying about, oh, Chargers want him. We hear he's going to Chargers, going to Chargers. Not so fast, my friends. It is looking like the Houston Texans
That's what I'm seeing. Him and Stroud
are the team. So that is, wow. That's pretty darn nice down there for them. You mentioned Pollard, and you said he didn't have a Pollard year, but here's the thing. It's his first year as the primary back. And it looks to me like, oh no, he's more so just one of those backs that you sprinkle in with another guy that can take, just as much of the load. And then Eckler, I think we initially saw the rumor mills initially were Eckler to the Bears. But now with that Justin Fields news coming out today of him being likely going to the Falcons, they said there's a deal in place. I don't know if you guys saw that today. And then lastly, Derrick Henry is the one that interests me the most.
Yeah.
Because there's talk that Ravens, Cowboys, right? Those are the two teams I saw, but then they're saying his camp, he wants to go to Miami.
Wait, who? Henry.
Miami.
Henry.
Yes.
I did. You know what? I did see that.
So that's just my quick takes here on those guys. But one last little fun fact about these backs are, when you look at Derrick Henry, he is 3 years older than Todd Gurley, and Gurley hasn't played in the league for was it 3 years now for Todd, or 4 years for Todd Gurley? Like isn't that crazy? Like Gurley's that young and he's just out of the league.
That his whole career ended really odd.
Very odd.
Very odd. Wow.
He
just kind of just sailed off into the sunset.
I think he had some
sail off in the sunset.
A lot of people didn't know about. I think he was good at kind of.
I don't know, man.
Concealing it. Because didn't he have a weird story at the combine where he didn't let the doctors assess his knee?
No, because he tore his ACL his senior year.
Right. But then when he was at the combine and he was participating, the doctors wanted to assess his knee for teams, and he said he refused and he got all mad.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, it's just weird. But again, that goes back to what is the length of a career for a running back? I mean, some guys got it, some guys don't. I mean, it's tough. But I don't know. All right. Anything else NFL wise? I think Trent, you touched on something I was going to bring up too, the field situation.
Oh yeah. So Justin Fields went from favorite initially to go to Pittsburgh, and then now looks like he is all but the next Atlanta Falcons quarterback. So
that came from his agent's video that he posted about going home, right?
Yeah, but then even today there was reports that there is a deal in place. So even outside of just that excitement video that you saw, and then also you got the Caleb Williams. Places. Oh, geez. I realized I didn't realize that. I then geez, that's a throwback. But
right.
They also said today that Caleb Williams met with the Bears. So there's so many dumb rumors about him not being taken number one. That's part of the don't fall for it. Don't fall for that. He's going number one.
You'll see crazy sportsbook lines change, everything. That's what they do.
Yeah, no, I do.
I know what you're gonna say. Go ahead and say it, Ty. Go ahead and say it.
I wish so bad we could bet on this stuff in Pennsylvania.
I was just gonna say
so bad. That's one thing I get so frustrated with is certain little betting lines like that. Right. That we can't. But
Tyler, you could make a wager with me, but I'm just saying it's out there. It's out there.
No, the one little NFL topic that I don't know if we mentioned last week or not, but I just want to touch on was the extension of the salary cap in the NFL.
Yeah.
And the impact that's going to have, because that's
Yeah.
I mean, I think that bailed out a lot of teams. And I mean, I was always a believer that the salary cap's just kind of like this flexible cap that doesn't really exist really, because when teams all of a sudden are millions of dollars over, they fix it by restructuring contracts as like back ends and bonuses
and extending down the road. Yeah.
Right. And it's just, I don't know. It was never really like a threat in my eyes, but now you just add $30-some million to it. And it's like, holy crap. Like you just bailed out tons of franchises, including, I mean,
it's still not a threat.
Like, I know, but
I think, yeah. I think I had heard too that this was one of the years that it was not going to grow that much. And for it to grow, I think more than it's ever grown was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Well, they just got paid. NFL just keeps getting paid. You know, one, they had the whole Taylor Swift, money making machine.
Hold on, you can't never bring it up in an episode, man. It's
anyway
every time.
Brought in
almost
a $500 million there. But then you also
how do you just give her the credit for $500 million?
That's what they've now calculated out. They said since the moment
Who's they?
The uptick, NFL.
Who's they?
The Swifties.
The NFL.
Come on, they've calculated it out.
It was pre Super Bowl. Pre Super Bowl, it was around $59 million. Okay, due to her and Kelsey, yes. Okay,
not them going international, not them having all these streaming services and streaming games and everything else.
Like that was strictly being led to association with Taylor Swift advertising. Okay, now the other thing is what you were saying, Ty, is now they're going. What first game is in? Is it like Brazil?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we have our first, and it's a Friday. What the heck is up with that? Like I'm like. What are us high school coaches supposed to do? You know, I guess I'm not watching. I'll tell you that much. Anyway, but now the other thing is Amazon Prime, I believe, just paid buku bucks to be able to be the only streamed playoff game. So they outbid everybody, kind of like what they do with Peacock this past year. Now it's on Amazon Prime, which thankfully I am a subscriber. So.
I know that was the big thing last. It was like, how many people are even subscribed to Peacock?
Yeah,
but I did record Dad trying to get into his Peacock account before that game.
Oh God,
that's probably horrendous.
Hey, now I'll say he got right in.
Wow,
it was not as funny of a video as it could have been.
No devices thrown.
No devices thrown. No passwords forgotten. No.
Wow.
You know the worst thing about it? Every time you help him. And then you like go down and you do it like you solve it right away, and then you're like, all right, like, here you go. Like, sorry I did that so fast. You know, like you almost want to like act like you're struggling sometimes, just so you're like,
no, but
oh, man,
but I will say this, like
on?
you, as opposed to just doing it though, you do have to show, like not just him. I'm saying like people don't know that stuff. It's that way it's not like, well, what the hell did you just do? Because some things it does come second nature for me at least. Like there's certain things where I'm like, oh yeah, click this button. If you look at it this way with your head cocked to the right, then it actually does this. Like
what?
You got Apple Vision or what?
Well, yeah. What are you talking about?
Maybe I do.
Wearing headsets. Oh.
But now, hey, real quick hypothetical, then we'll jump into college basketball. So listen, the conversation I had this week with some people, I was like, hey, I might bring this up on the podcast because I think it was kind of neat. Again, definitely more attracted to me and Trey. Is the topic of Aaron Rodgers came up, and the topic of the Packers and the Niners in the playoffs came up. And I said, I know Aaron Rodgers was always, salty about like not being drafted by the Niners. So I said, my question was this is, do you think that Aaron Rodgers would have had the career that he had, say the 49ers drafted him instead of Alex Smith with the first pick? Do you think he still has the same career? And what does that look like? I would even say for the Niners. And I will, if you guys discuss what your thoughts are, I will tell you the coaching staff.
Well, can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I don't think it would be much different because if I'm correct, the Niners had a pretty rough stretch during some years during Aaron Rodgers' career.
Yep.
And the Packers, on the other hand, besides the year where they won the Super Bowl with like Julius Peppers, Charles Woodson, and like all those guys, they had no defense ever for Rodgers. So, and they were still successful. Like, he still took the Packers to playoffs, still won playoff games, but never really got back to the Super Bowl. It sounds to me like the Niners, I'm assuming they have a similar structured team to the Packers did when all those years. So I don't think it would be much different, to be honest with you.
So the coach that drafted him in 2005, if he would have went to the Niners, would have been Mike Nolan. Mike Nolan was the head coach for the Niners from 2005 to 2008. Then Mike Singletary took over from 2008 to 2010. Jim Tom Solo was an interim for a little bit.
Can't do it.
And then they hired Harbaugh. And Harbaugh was only there for 3 years. But my question, though, I mean, he didn't get there until 2011. Like, that would have been 6 years of Aaron Rodgers already. And, it goes back, and somebody else brought up a good point when I was having this conversation, is Rodgers was able to sit behind Brett Favre, for years, learn from Brett Favre. Whereas, would he have been as good if he'd have just been thrown to the wolves as the Niners starting quarterback, as was Alex Smith?
I mean, if we're going based off of evidence, no, he wouldn't have been as good, because look what the Packers have done with their last two quarterbacks that have. I mean, Jordan Love's still very young in his career. God forbid something crazy happens where he doesn't pan out to be as promising as what he's looked to be. But
right.
I think that strategy that the Packers have, if it even is on purpose or not, the sitting behind some elite players for 2-3 seasons, getting that experience, learning how to like truly read a defense and manage an NFL game.
Learn the system, learn the season.
Yeah. It's proven to be successful for the Packers, at least. And then you see all of these promising quarterbacks, probably even more talented than someone, say, Jordan Love coming out of college. They start right away and they have awful starts to their careers. And look at Mitch Trubisky, or like who else? I'm trying. Who's another like earlier?
There's plenty of them, man.
Yeah, I can't think of any.
Zach Wilson.
Yeah,
Zach Wilson.
Well, no, I don't think he was ever going to be good, but yeah, but people like that, Mark Sanchez, I guess.
Trey Lance.
That was just a bust. I think that was a bad pick. But I don't know. It's
Mac Jones.
Okay, well,
come on, Trent.
Mac Jones won me a beer this year.
Yeah, barely.
I don't.
Barely is a complete understatement.
What do you have? 2 less wins than Justin Fields?
No, Mac Jones had 3 wins, and Mac Jones had 1 of them. So
no, he had at least 2. And Bajent won half of the Bears game, so I don't want to hear it.
No, he won 2.
Okay,
pretty sure it was Bajent.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on this, Chuck? I mean, we can move on. I just thought it was a cool hypothetical because, in my opinion, not a knock on Rodgers, but I don't think Rodgers has the career he does, more so because of what he would have been surrounded with in San Fran and having to be thrown in right away. I think what happened in Packers was ideal for him.
Yeah,
I don't.
Go ahead.
Hold on. Go ahead, Trent.
Go ahead, Trent. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't. I'm not going to say what happened with the Packers is definitely more ideal than what could have been in San Fran, right? It's a hypothetical. So
yeah,
my take would be is I do think with the talent that did come up and the hiring of Harbaugh, if that did happen with Rodgers there, then I do believe that Rodgers would have more than 1 Super Bowl to show for, because that was an elite defense. That was a pretty elite offense at the time with Anquan Bolden. Was it Michael Crabtree there still?
Frank Gore.
And then I don't know. It was
Vernon Davis.
Yeah, that's who. Vernon Davis. I was trying to think who the tight end was, but so I don't know. I mean, I think he could have if the situation worked out where, okay, say what you're saying does happen, Trey, where there was some down years in the beginning with like the Mike Nolan years. If they do hire Harbaugh, I do believe that would have been a different story. I think Rodgers has a couple more rings on his fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
I always said, you guys can knock on me all you want. Tom Brady is the greatest of all time. He's accomplished things that we might rarely ever see again. Granted, Patrick Mahomes, I know he's threatening already, but I think Aaron Rodgers is the most talented at the quarterback position. His skill level was unmatched.
We're gonna have this. This is gonna have. We're gonna have to save this conversation, dude.
Okay, but no, I'm just saying his throwing strength, throwing accuracy, the way he works the pockets, his intellect, everything was far superior than every other quarterback. His situation didn't allow him to be the greatest of all time like Tom Brady.
Shoo, man, that's a heavy take.
Talent, just strictly based off talent alone.
Wait, Ty, do I hear the Go Pack Go song right now? Trey, open your mouth. As an SNL reference for any of you that are
see that
are
shout out to Shane Gillis.
Oh yeah.
Gosh, that was
awesome.
Go Pack Go, right, Trey?
Yeah. Whatever.
Open your mouth.
That was a pretty bold and biased statement to say all those areas, but I do not want to get caught up arguing that. But inaccurate.
I would. I think we got some basketball to talk about here, boys.
Yes, we do.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I would like to start it off by saying that as tough of a month as February was, gambling wise, last night on Thursday, we finished 3-0.
That's right.
So shout out to you guys. We're starting fresh here with the month of March here on Friday. So take us into the weekend here and let's get going because, hey, 3-0 to finish the month is going to lead into a hot March. And you know what happens when the Bearded Baker brothers get hot in March?
Ooh, it gets mad.
Ooh.
Oh, I was gonna say we sweat a lot. Oh, no. Sorry, we're bearded and burly. So what do you want me to say?
Speak for yourself, John. I'm pretty limber.
Okay. Oh, but I'll tell you what. This is upcoming. I think next week. Next week wraps up regular season, and then honestly, it's I say this I think every year, and I honestly believe that I enjoy the conference tournaments. I almost enjoy it. I enjoy it more than probably the tournament itself.
Ooh,
but
yes.
Okay. One thing I will say is the thing about the March Madness tournament is that first weekend, that first whole weekend, when you sit there and see that games are tipping at like 12, and then they go all the way up till like tip is not till like 10:25 p.m. Right? The first weekend, yeah. The first weekend is so incredible. But then as you get like later and later, it's like you start getting just a little bit sadder, but like still excited for the games.
Dude,
a little bit sadder. It's like it's such a weird emotional ride. Maybe I'm just a complete college basketball junkie, which I will wholeheartedly admit that I am. But it is a weird thing you go through.
Dude, you're not lying.
Baseball.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
But the O's are back, so I'm okay with that. But anyway, I'm pumped for this. Like this is, I love conference tournaments, and you're right, Ty. We gotta turn it around after this month of February. Hopefully we got all our issues out, and we're good to go. We'll be all right.
We're definitely due here. And like I said, March, you got a lot of things starting to happen here. But Trent, just to kind of echo what you were saying too about conference tournaments, dude, I love it because it is like, they're not all at the same time. It's like, all right, you got this tournament, you got like 2 or 3 days of like all their games. All right, and then somebody wins. All right, hey, now you got all the tournament, another team with all these games. Like it is excitement and the March Madness roller coaster of emotions. It's like you're right, that second weekend, it's like, oh, there's only one game on at 2:00. Okay, there's one game on at 4:00. Okay. Oh, there's 2 on at 8. All right. Okay. All right. But like, it's like here's like just vomit of games, and you're just like super jacked up. That's heck, our setup where we got all the games on all the time. It's like, hey, let's go. And I will still never forget 2 years ago in the basement when we had the games on. I think, was it Texas? They hit a half court shot.
Was it for the over?
For the over, but I think it was like a first half over.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
No. You had the full game first half. We already were sitting at 2-0, and all we needed was your over. And it was actually not just a 2-0. We were on like a heater of like
16-0.
Yeah, it was like 16 straight.
Yeah.
And
we went 18-2 or something.
Yeah, and the teams went back and forth the first half. Everything was like, it was looking like, oh, dude, this over is a no sweat. And we were just so jacked up. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, here we go, half court shot. And he drilled it, and we went absolutely nuts. You're right.
Dude, that was crazy.
That was, yeah, and we did. We ended up that streak kept going.
Dude, that was a crazy streak.
Yeah, we're due for one of those. We need one of those. That's a heck of a time.
That is. Yeah. It's coming up here.
It is. I have a good feeling here kind of going into March, because if you look at, some of the things, that we've, gambled and stuff like that. I like to look back, like last February was a struggle for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we were 8 games under 38 and 46 for the month of February. And then we went 7 games above 500 in March. In 2022, we were okay in February. We went 44, 39 and 1. But then March, we killed it. We were 53, 38 and 1. We crushed it. So we're definitely due. It's, I don't know. Maybe it's like the excitement of trying to figure out.
Well, I think I was going to say I think too is I think what you have to almost start to keep a little bit more of an eye on is bubble teams.
Yeah.
That's one thing. The other thing I think you got to keep an eye out in February is you look for teams that can either earn a bye or significantly increase their seed in their conference tournaments. And that's a lot to look at, outside of maybe your usual, because like throughout the regular season, not in February, but like earlier in the year, I look at some performance statistics to kind of get comparisons on, do I also use, styles of play, that as a basketball junkie, like knowing what type of defense a certain team plays versus, what type of offense another team kind of relies on. But the one thing that I did to see some people put, I even think Fast Breaks addressed this too, was senior night games too, is pay attention to those. You got to be careful with those. That's not just home court advantage. It's also an emotional home court advantage for a lot of schools. Sure. So that could be a little bit extra, because in that case, even if it's small school venue, you could get a good chunk of extra fans that aren't normally there at those small schools to support family. So, but February was tough, but I'm like, you guys are right. Let's let the madness begin now.
I have a theory as to why February is usually tough for us too.
Go ahead.
It's usually later.
I'd love to know this, because
it's usually later in the season, right? And it's usually the second time around teams are playing teams in their conference. So it's tough to beat 2 teams twice or in a season, especially in your conference, right?
And home and away. Cover.
So, right. Yeah, exactly. Covering is a whole different argument. So that's my thought is we bet on the teams that should be winning, should be covering. But hey, this is the second time they played, and now the team made an adjustment and they know how to beat them this time around, or make it a closer game this time around. So
I think the most frustrating part of it though is like there's certain games, and I mean, come on, like we've all been there the last couple of days. Like we're like, oh yeah, shoe in. Even last night with Tarleton State, it's like they're up by 20 points at halftime. Now they won by 11, but at one point the game was only 6-point difference in the second half. It's like some of these teams just like melt down, and I'm like, what do the books know that I don't know, and like why? Like why don't I know that? I know, and that's what I mean. Like that's the frustrating part. It's like seeing Tarleton State up last night by 20 at halftime. I'm like, man, this should be easy. I don't have to sweat it. Just run away. And sure enough, I just had a feeling though. I'm like, second half, Utah Tech is going to make a run. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And all of a sudden, it's going to be a sweaty game. And it was a little sweaty for me at times. They pulled it out, but like I said, it was tough. Just to kind of touch on some more stuff with basketball. I know you guys. I feel like you guys watch a lot more of the bigger games than I do. But dude, I can't help but love so many of these smaller conferences, the WAC, the Horizon. Like watching these teams, because I'll even say this, my wife the other night was like, "Are you watching a high school basketball game on TV?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "No, this is Presbyterian."
That's like common.
She's like, "Wait, what?"
Remember, that's what Melissa said when I brought up about watching Detroit Mercy. That's exactly what.
Yeah.
What is this? And I'm like, it's actually Division I basketball. Yeah.
Well, and and even the gym size, like if you look at the gym at Presbyterian game, it was like, I've seen gyms in high schools that are way bigger than that.
That's funny you said, because that's exactly what my fiance's comment was when we watched the same game last night, because obviously we had a bet on it, and she like caught a glimpse of it, and she's like, "That gym is tiny. Is that like an actual college gym?" And I was like, "Yeah, it is." They had like 3 rows of bleachers. That was it.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, it was like completely empty, and I was like, "Oh my god, like this is weird."
Yep. It's just a high school game. I'm like, no, this is Presbyterian. I think it was the same thing the other night when I watched. Who'd you have? I think it was your bet too, Trey. It was like Tennessee Tech against somebody, and I'm like watching the game, and I'm like, man, there's nobody here. It's like, all right, but dude, but I love that stuff. It's like because there's so much. I don't know. I feel like there's certain. I'm not saying that they play hard or anything, but like you do feel like a certain. They know they have to win because there's not necessarily an at-large bid. Like if you don't win your tournament, you're not in.
Yeah.
So you want to try to get as much advantage as you can. So I don't know. I do feel like at times that guys do play a little bit harder because they're like, hey, you know what? If we don't do this, our season doesn't extend.
Yeah, and they actually run offenses. They actually run sets. They actually play like a legit
tough defenses. Like, yep.
I wouldn't take that away from the big time programs
I'm not saying that either, but those bigger schools, like even Duke and Kansas and all they play more of an NBA style. They do compared to
most
these
of the guys going to the NBA.
It's just how it is. They're athletically capable to play like that, other than one of these small schools are. So I don't know, it is true, Trent. Like and I'm not saying they don't play defense in the bigger games, but you do see a little bit more effort, I think, from Maryland Eastern Shore. Like, I
mean,
you remember when I picked them last year to win their conference and they did?
Yeah.
You guys are like, what the hell? And we were like, I think they were a 5 seed. And you're like, you're picking UMES? And I was like, yeah. And they won.
We got to do that again.
Next week.
Hey, I have it all set up. We're ready to go, man.
Next week,
it's going to be beautiful. Yeah, it's going to be beautiful because I have it set up where we're going to pick all the conference champions. All the conference tournaments. And then I also have it set up too where we can actually, and you guys can go in too and type in your 1 seeds, your 2 seeds, your 3s, 4s, all the way to 16. So I set it up so that way it's easy, and then we'll be able to actually share that on all our social media sites, which is going to be cool as hell. So
I love that.
Nice. Well, hey, as you guys know, we really digested the top 16 release from last week. Haven't quite seen. I don't think they've released a new top 16 or updated. It was kind of funny because they were showing that graphic that we pulled up last week on here, and I think all of them that week or weekend, all the teams except 3 or 4 of the teams in the top 16 lost.
Wow.
Lost a game. And now I think all of them but like 1 or 2 have lost a game since that release. So I don't know. Do you guys see anybody that's a big mover, whether it be moving up, moving down, and just referring mainly to the top 16 teams that were released there?
The one that I can't figure out a whole lot, is the 16. I don't know. Now, Trent, I'm looking at the AP top 25 16. Like,
yeah,
I know it's a little bit different.
Do you guys want me to rattle off that dumb head Joe Lenardi's 16 seeds right now. Top 16.
Dude, I look forward to his release every day.
Yeah, I don't, but I do because it fuels my anger. But anyway, number one seeds are still, and I'll give each seed number in the actual order of like who's the top one of these. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
So the overall number one seed right now is Purdue, followed by UConn, Houston, and then Arizona. Do you see any of those dropping here before this is all said and done these next 2 weeks? Or do you think those are locked in?
I think Houston could drop.
You are such a hater on Houston. They are joining the Big 12 this year and destroying the Big 12 this year.
You said Arizona was a 1 seed?
Yes, they are the fourth number one seed.
That's one I'd keep an eye on.
Okay.
I would definitely keep an eye because they trended, and I know you'll tell us this next. Tennessee was a 2.
Yeah, here we go. Let's do that because you're probably going to get more potential movers with the lower seeds, right? Yeah. Because it's going to take a major upset for those top dogs to lose. And they can't get any higher. All right. Number 2 seeds. The top 2 seed is Tennessee. And then that's followed by North Carolina, then Marquette, then Iowa State. I think the one that can move here, matter of fact, the one that can definitely move here, because one, I'm going to tell you, I think Tennessee's they're not going to win their conference tournament.
Maybe.
Okay.
Who wins their conference tournament?
I just don't think. Oh, I'm not allowed to say that. I'm sorry. I just don't see Tennessee doing it. It's the old, I just don't trust
Auburn.
I have trust issues.
Maybe. I know they just lost to Tennessee, but
North Carolina is who I am saying could be the biggest mover here. I think if they take care of business, meaning they win out, they beat Duke again at Duke. That right there should almost be another, hey, you should be considered for it. But then if you also win regular season and postseason ACC, you need that's a 1 seed. You are a 1 seed.
You're doing exactly what Trey did with Niners.
Hold on, Tyler. I'm just saying they could be the biggest move. I'm not saying that's my projection. Okay, I'm saying
reverse jinxing. What an asshole,
Tyler. I'll be honest.
Works, Tyler.
I'm going to be honest with you, Ty. If Duke all of a sudden figures a way, let's say Carolina drops a game and then Duke wins, and they end up getting a share of the regular season, and they win the ACC tournament. I mean, Duke's a little bit further back than Carolina right now, so they have a harder way, but they should be up for discussion, especially if any of those top dogs lose early in their conference tournament. That's my take on it.
I agree with that. If they're the regular season winner and they win the ACC tournament, there's no doubt in my mind, especially as a 9 seed right now overall in the AP, they should totally be a 1 seed.
It's a joke.
And I know Joe Luzardi.
That was good.
Ooh, there it is. That's what we need. Joe Luzardi.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Finally got her. It's better than Joe Dumbass. Dumas.
No, that's Dumars. Joe Dumars, a player for the Nuggets back in the day.
Okay. Yeah, anyway, guys, do you guys got any big movers potentially there, either up or down?
I would. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I like your assessment of North Carolina because they do play Duke and they have the regular season tournament too. But they could move the other way too, based off of that. You know what I mean? If they lose those games, especially the way the ACC gets treated in the polls and rankings. So, to me, I'm going to pick another Big 12 school, Iowa State. I just don't. I feel like they're the Washington of the NCAA football for me because I always I don't have any faith in them, and I always bet against them, and I always think they're just way overperforming. But I'm not sold on them.
That's funny because I feel I agree with you in the sense of them moving down possibly,
right?
Trey, but I also have this weird attraction to them, very similar to Washington in college football. It's the same thing for me.
It's all dependent on obviously the draw and stuff, but that's a team that I think gets upset in the first round of the NCAA tournament as a high seed.
Ooh.
No.
Yeah,
Beer bet it.
I
Beer
do.
bet it, Ty.
Not
I
upset.
Beer
think
bet it.
No.
I think no. Because we don't know
I'll
who they
beer
play
bet
yet.
that.
We don't know who
I'll
they
beer
play
bet
yet.
that.
No, because it all depends on who they play, and you know that.
Meow.
But what I'm saying is that they're a team that is unbelievable at home. Their strength is their home court advantage this year.
Trey, you keep talking, and all I'm hearing is the Meow Mix theme song.
How do you want me to make a blind bet off of a team that we don't even know their opponent? That's ridiculous. What
Sorry,
if they draw?
Tyler had a sponsor drop there. You hear that?
Yeah,
I know.
Shut up.
That would save you some there.
That's
Yeah.
All right.
No,
All right. So Trey, so listen, so then once the bracket comes out, will you beer bet me the Iowa State beer bet?
I have to see who they play and my assessment on it. But yeah, I mean, more than likely I will, depending on the matchup. That's bullcrap. You can't.
I think they're gonna make I think they'll make Iowa State a 3 seed.
Which is awesome. I hope they do.
All right, ready? 3 seeds right now. Kansas, who dropped another one this week. Trey, that beer bet is becoming more and more of a gimme. Where I have Houston finishing better than Kansas. Anyway, Kansas is the
he's
top.
so smug when he says it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
What? Kansas is the top 3 seed. Bama second, 3rd seed, and then it's followed by Creighton and Baylor right now. Yes, Duke won by 25 last night against an inferior opponent and dropped. So they dropped 3 spots.
It's because Kyle Filipowski. No, Flopowski.
Oh, I see what you did.
Yeah, you saw that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yes, I get it.
I know, but please tell me you guys saw that selfie picture that was on social media. Dude,
what do you do?
Pretty good.
The fact, we'll find. I'll send it to you. But like, dude,
he didn't take the selfie. It was somebody took a picture.
I know he didn't. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But like the fact that they got that picture, I was like, wow.
He was screaming in pain.
Oh, please.
Anyway,
putting his leg
let's
out.
go. Let's go 3 seed. We could talk about rushing the court if you want to. I think we should, but anyway, Kansas, then Bama, then Creighton, then Baylor. Anybody that's
they're gonna make
rising.
They're gonna make Kansas at least a 2. I could see them still making Kansas a 1 seed.
Wow.
Dude, I don't agree with that at all, but like I could totally see them doing that.
So here's my
I
thing
think Baylor drops to at least probably 3 or 4.
There's a lot of
Big
12 schools, and they're gonna have to lose sometime, right? Like there's all these, in their tournament in these last couple games, like in their conference games. So I mean, like, yes, there's a lot of Big 12 schools and they might be good, but someone has to lose when they play each other. So that's why I think like Baylor, for instance, I think they're going to be the ones that move the most because I don't believe
up or down.
Down.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's what I was going to say.
I think that they're like I said, I don't think they're going to perform in the tournament. I don't think they're that great of a Big 12 team, but they're good enough to get wins and be ranked. I don't know. I know they like the Big 12, and I think it is a good conference, but I think they manipulate the polls and statistics where they get ranked high in the polls, like that trend. Like I think someone sent the net rankings that they use to like manipulate and benefit themselves, and it's kind of
Trent talked about that.
I can actually bring a little sprinkling of that to the table. Doing my ACC duties. Trey,
sprinkle it while he talks about it.
I actually I addressed how they manipulate the net ratings, right? Where like remember Iowa State, who right now is like 4th in the net ratings or something like that, or whatnot. They actually have an out of conference strength of schedule like over 300.
Right.
Okay. TCU's considered in the tournament. They're unranked. Once again, out of conference schedule over 300, but their net ranking is high. Because if you beat those terrible teams in neutral sites or on the road and you kill them by like 20 or 30 points, it helps your net ranking. But recently, Brad Brownell, head coach of Clemson, an ACC compadre, called out the Big 12 for manipulating the net. So their non-conference scheduling are playing 300 level teams and winning by 40 or 50 points to increase their efficiency numbers. Our league, the ACC, is 9-3 versus the Big 12 this year.
Wow.
Ooh. Hey, Joe Luzardi, how do you feel about that puppy?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right. That's crazy.
Put that in your weird
9-3.
And that's what should matter. That's what should matter the most.
That should matter.
Head-to-head matchups, head-to-head comparison of how did your conference compete against this conference? Who did better, right? So why not?
All right. So can I propose an idea then? If because I totally agree with that. Then there should be more tournaments similar to like the challenges. Yeah. Where all right, you got ACC Big 10, ACC Big 12, like Big 10, Big 12. Like,
guys,
dude,
I have an idea.
They need that.
All right.
I have an idea.
Just don't start.
Have an idea. No. But you know how like they're claiming, like how the NBA, they try to do an in-season tournament to spice it up, right? And they're still saying college basketball is losing its excitement, right? Why not do an in-season tournament where you take the top 4 teams from every Power 5 and do like
here's the thing. It's different.
Listen, I didn't think this through. This just came into my mind right now. So don't say, how are they going to determine this and that and all that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Listen, a lot of holes to that, Trent.
Listen, okay, but Trey, it could be worked out. Hey, this year, these 2 conferences play. Your 4th plays their 1. Their 1 plays your 4th. You could totally do it. Let's work on it. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to write it out. I'm going to write it in.
Trey.
My question
all great things started with a great idea that you had.
I understand that. But my
question is, our podcast is establishing an in-season college basketball tournament that would totally spark interest, and you can pay these guys now. So pay these teams, pay these players that money for playing.
Can I also say one thing though? That is in college, it's totally different than an NBA in-season tournament.
Can I add on to that?
I think the NBA in-season tournament was dumb as shit.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that
they're trying. They're trying.
The Lakers hung a banner. Come on.
But it could become a big thing, Tyler. We don't know. It's the first year they did it, so
stupid.
I agree.
Adam Silver needs to be fired.
Wow.
I don't know about that.
Ooh, no. He actually gets ranked as like the best commissioner.
Wrong. You're completely wrong, Trent. He has lost the NBA so much money since he's taken over.
Roger Goodell's getting ranked high? Hell no.
Do you know how much money he's made for the NFL? He at least makes money. I don't like Roger Goodell at all, but he makes the league money. Adam Silver isn't doing
Tyler,
shit.
He doesn't. Remember? Apparently, $500 billion is because of Taylor Swift.
Well, I said $500 million, not $500 billion. You Dr. Evil over there?
Yeah.
He's like $500 trillion.
Hey, just making up words.
No,
currency.
Trent, I do like your idea, but what it requires though is the first half of conference games need to be played at the beginning of the season. Then,
agreed.
So you play your first half of conference games, then do your out of conference games in the little bit of the middle of the schedule, and then
after your tournament.
No. So you do the first half of conference games, do your out of conference schedule, then you go to the in-season tournament, and then you do the second half of games conference tournament. You know what I mean?
Dude,
it would have to go by overall record too, with the tiebreaker being your head-to-head from the first round of conference games. Boom. Just figured it out, guys.
Can't write it down.
I will.
We have it on recording.
Yeah,
trademark it.
Trey, write it on that whiteboard there.
Oh yeah.
What's that, Ty?
Yeah.
And it was right on the whiteboard. It was like a tongue twister.
Oh man.
I almost said white it on the right board.
Thought we were listening to a Kyle Shanahan interview at Super Bowl Media Day there.
Uh-oh.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh.
Don't do that, he said.
Don't do that. You don't want to get into that stuff.
Oh my gosh, allegedly. Anyway, so yeah, last thing, I'll round you out here with the 4 seeds. We got to remember this college basketball play-in tournament. I think that's onto something.
Yeah.
I think it's
not a mid-season tournament.
It's a mid-season. Yeah, not a play-in. Sorry.
Yeah.
Ooh, hold on. Wait.
Oh,
If you win that mid-season tournament, do you automatically guarantee March Madness?
No.
Don't touch that. Don't
No,
touch it.
You can't. Yeah.
This has to be completely separate for resume building purposes. And
I was going to say,
if you want in, then take care of business.
Hold on. It should carry some weight to seeding for the NCAA tournament, though.
Yes.
Like that should be.
But it can't relate.
More so than the net bullshit.
Right.
More so than the net bullshit, though.
Yes, that's
right.
that's what we just said, right? The whole entire preface of this was you should be comparing how your conference went head to head with the other conference, right? And that's why I'm saying, okay, then why not make a tournament of straight up like head to head major conferences playing one another?
Do your Power 4. There you go. You got four brackets.
That's what I'm saying. I told you, top 4 for me. We're on to something.
16,
all right,
16 teams.
Yep. So here we go. Top 4 seed overall is Duke. Then you have Auburn. Then you have San Diego State. Then you have Kentucky.
Duke's a 4 seed.
Yes.
They'll move up. They'll be at least a
3. They dropped 3 spots after winning by 25 points.
No, they'll be at least a 3. Should be a 2.
One I think is going to move the most. It was wasn't it 2 SEC schools, Trent?
Yeah, Auburn was the second ranked highest.
Okay.
And then Kentucky was the very last ranked 4 seed.
Like, I just think okay, so you have Iowa. I'm looking at AP top 25. You have Marquette and you have Iowa State. Marquette's at 5, Iowa State's at 8. And then you have Carolina at 9 and Duke at 10. Okay. I think Carolina and Duke would tear apart either of those teams.
They could, yeah. They could. Hey,
I
could be completely wrong.
It's the ACC disrespect. But Trey, who did you say you were going to move?
Probably Kentucky.
Down or up?
Down.
I
agree with that. I think they're overrated.
They're one of the most bet on teams right now to win it all. It's because they have good juice.
Gosh.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Creighton was a 3 seed, Trent?
Yeah, they somehow moved up. They have I know we'll talk about weekend preview here, but man, Creighton's got a big game this weekend.
Yeah.
Very big game.
A couple big games this weekend.
Huge games this weekend. When isn't there though, right? I love it.
That's why I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah. So that was Lenardi's, top 16 seeds. Now, remember, keep in mind, listeners, he doesn't know jack shit. That's why we call him Lou Zardi, right? I love that.
That's
now.
Right.
So last 4 buys are Florida Atlantic, Nevada, Wake Forest, and Virginia. Last 4 in New Mexico, Seton Hall, who Seton Hall just got crushed by Creighton, and they're still last 4 in. Gonzaga, although Gonzaga's got a pretty tough one tonight with San Francisco, and then Providence.
Yeah.
Providence?
Well, hold on a second. Wait.
Those are the last 4.
You just said Wake Forest was last 4 out?
No. I said last 4 buys. Wake Forest.
Oh, buys. Okay.
Buys.
I thought you said last 4 out.
Yeah.
Okay.
First 4 out. You want me to go there quick?
Yeah, that's there.
All right. Villanova, Colorado, Utah, and St. John's has been put up in the mix. They moved up.
I agree with that.
I don't hate those.
I don't think Providence should be in, honestly.
Yeah.
I think if St. John, what it's all going to come down to is which one of those teams makes a run in their conference tournament,
Yeah.
and which ones don't. Because if Providence loses in the first or second round and St. John's makes it to the championship game, come on, how do you not put them in over Providence? Providence sucks this year.
The committee is treating the Big East tournament, because it's in Madison Square Garden, all these like calculations and net rankings, they are counting Big East tournament games as home games for St. John's. Not neutral court.
That's tough.
That is kind of tough because it's not selling to like your home crowd. Like, yeah, like I don't know. That's pretty. Wait, can you fault them that they can play games at the Madison Square, and that's where the Big East is set up tournament? Like,
I'd argue that teams play their best at Madison Square because it's like a mecca.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, got a question here. All right.
Yeah.
Let's say the team that interests me a little bit here is, and it's because of the success I've had so much in the past, Gonzaga.
You think that they're a threat?
They're 23 right now, which I think is a little bit absurd. I do think that they are 23rd right now because they're trying to put them in the tournament.
Yeah.
If I mean, again, I know we record Thursday night, so to our listeners here, but like Gonzaga, San Francisco is still on right now. It's almost midnight.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say San Francisco beats Gonzaga. Gonzaga still, do they get in? Are they in the 64 field?
If they make, it's so hard to say. It really is, because they're a team that, even with another loss, they could still be on the bubble depending on how they do in their tournament. Because they're going to be playing. They'll play St. Mary's. They'll play San Francisco again. They'll play Santa Clara and other schools that are okay. For me, a lot of the weight comes on the tournament because you're playing teams that are also ranked that you can jump or make impressive wins against. Like,
St. Mary's is 14-0 in the WCC.
Yeah.
Like, and Wake Forest. Gonzaga is 12-2. They're 22-6 overall. San Francisco is 11-3. They're 22-7 overall. So let's say San Francisco finishes second in the regular season. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Do they get an automatic bid?
No. You mean a at-large bid?
Yeah. Does San Francisco get an at-large bid if they're ranked higher in their conference than Gonzaga?
No.
No. They don't have, you got to have all those other quad one wins and strength of schedule.
But that's my question, though. Who's Gonzaga played?
They played
big. They played like Kentucky, didn't they?
Yeah, mid-season. They did a mid-season Kentucky, and I think they beat Kentucky at Kentucky.
Yeah,
I think I was on the losing end. Then that
helps them.
Yeah,
that helps them.
Thanks, Trey. Don't laugh.
Yeah.
Tyler, I will say this.
He did laugh. He did laugh.
At what? At what?
I said I was on the losing end of that Kentucky Gonzaga game. You're like, you were pretty much like, yeah, you were.
That's not what I was.
Loser.
Pretty much. So Ty, a good point though is, I would say this, Ty, if they lose tonight, they play St. Mary's this Saturday at St. Mary's. If they lose those two games back to back, I think there's a chance, because they had them as last four in. I do believe that they're going to have to win their conference tournament to get in.
Yes,
to get in.
Yeah.
And let's say they would somehow, and once rankings come out, let's say they don't win their conference championship, right? But they beat San Francisco, or
if they beat St. Mary's, I think I was gonna say, if they beat St. Mary's at St. Mary's, I think they're gonna be in
this weekend.
Yeah,
I'd agree with that, especially if they did beat Kentucky, then I would say I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
I'd agree with that.
Yeah. So
yeah, I don't know. That's just the team I've been keeping an eye on, because they haven't been ranked a whole lot. It's been,
I don't like them. I just don't like them. They annoy me.
No, I don't either.
But
Providence, man, that blows my mind.
yeah, me too. Actually, you're right, Chad. That's bad. I mean,
That's
only
so
other-
ridiculous.
the only other thing coming from that is the next 4 out, which was Texas A&M, Iowa, Ole Miss, and Kansas State. Which I don't see how any of those 4 even have a remote chance with the conferences that they play in.
All right.
Yeah, so I don't see it happening, boys. But what do you guys think about this little statistic here? 95.5% of national champions since 2001 have had a top 21 Ken Pom offense pre-tournament. 90.9% of national champions since 2001 have had a top 31 Ken Pom defense pre-tournament. And there are only 8 teams that fit that criteria of having a top 21 offense and a top 31 defense. Those teams, you ready?
Can I guess some?
Yeah.
Houston.
They're in. You're right.
UConn.
Yeah, they're in. You're correct.
I'm going to say Duke.
Duke is in. You are correct.
Let me keep going.
You're on a roll.
Man, Marquette.
No, they're not.
Creighton.
Creighton is in.
Yep.
You're right.
All right, give me 3 strikes. I'm at 4. You said there's 8?
You have said we say Creighton, UConn, Houston, and Duke so far.
Tennessee.
Correct. You have 3 left.
Are there any surprises, like ones that are like, oh man? No. Purdue.
Correct.
Oh man, what I got? 2 more.
2 more.
Man, I don't want to say Kansas because I don't think Kansas is it. I'm gonna go. Oh man, this is tough. North Carolina? Did I already say that?
Correct.
Yeah. All right. UNC.
That's 7. You got 1 more.
Ooh. Okay. Oh man, that's so tough. What can you? I guess you can't tell me a conference.
No, you still have 2 strikes.
You got a good chance of guessing a Big 12 team.
I'm gonna go Alabama.
Wrong.
Is it Kansas?
Wrong. You just struck out on your last 2 strikes.
Dang it! What is it?
Arizona.
Ah, shoot! I'm a dummy. I should have known that.
If I would have given you the conference, that would have been way too easy. But
that's pretty impressive, though.
Yeah, you rattled those off. You know what? The one that is surprising is the Creighton one. I think.
No, I'm telling you.
I know you're a little secret closet Blue Jay. I think
I'm telling you because they have the perfect build of a team to make a run. They have the perfect build. They have a great coach. They have experienced players that have been around. They have every position that like you can imagine. Their little point guard, such a great game manager. Doesn't turn the ball over. Yeah, doesn't turn the ball over. Great defender. They got a big man that can stretch the floor.
I hate that term.
What?
Game manager.
Man, it's because it's all the quarterbacks you get.
Yes. Leave it out.
At least we made it to the Super Bowl.
For what? What do you have to show?
Good luck, players in the playoffs.
No, anyway. No, I think Creighton's got the perfect build. They got it.
What's this alter ego?
No. But then they got Trey Alexander. Probably their best player.
I was gonna say right now he's their best player.
Yeah, so I don't know. I like Creighton a lot, and I think they're overlooked.
All right, so Trey, let me ask you then. Let's look a weekend preview here to close this up, guys, or what?
Yeah, let's do
it. Real quick, can I just give a quick shout out to 3 teams?
Yeah, sure. Shout them out.
Shout them out because listen, like I know gambling's been tough, right? But there have been 3 teams that I've been pretty consistent with, and I'm going to actually start really hammering them down pretty hardcore here. Seattle, Tarleton State, and my last one. Hold on, shoot, I just lost it. Oh, sorry, High Point. There's one other one though. Hold on.
Is
4
it
teams.
Shoot.
is it Toledo?
No, they frustrate me. Don't talk about them. Oh, sorry, Oakland.
Oh man, back on
Oakland.
huh?
Yeah, back on the. I mean, we've kind of been on High Point in Oakland for quite some time.
Yeah, High Point, one of the top covering teams. Tarleton State's one of the top covering teams. Team to watch though, small Horizon League team is Youngstown State. So keep an eye on them. They like to screw us over a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say they've really burned us.
Can't beat them, join them though, Trent, because I've also bet against them a lot.
Okay.
So
I'm just gonna say right now that the team that I don't think is getting enough attention is South Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
didn't Fast Breaks pointed that out too.
Yeah, and they're legitimately, guys. They're the most profitable college basketball team on the money line in conference play this season. If you were making $100 wagers, South Florida, most profit of 1,391, then Washington State, then South Carolina, Central Michigan, then Green Bay. So,
and against the spread, they're number 5.
Oh.
So
That's good.
I will give a shout out to Richmond too. Richmond's another team I've been on a lot this year.
All right. So hey, let's go weekend matchups. I got 6 key matchups written down.
Do it.
I guess we don't have to pick them yet because we don't know the spreads, but maybe you could just give your gut instinct money line. No explanation, just holler it out. Kansas at Baylor.
Kansas.
Okay, I'm gonna go Baylor. Tennessee versus Bama.
Tennessee.
Alabama.
I'm gonna go Tennessee. Creighton Marquette.
This is win, right?
Yeah, just for right now, just for fun.
Okay. All right.
We'll get our boards out because we don't have the spreads.
You know, it's at Creighton, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I go Creighton.
That's so tough. Those are 2 of my favorite teams, honestly. Like in terms of threats, like good teams. I'm gonna go Creighton. I am, but I wouldn't be surprised either way. Let's put it like that way.
That was pretty neutral of you, but okay.
Yeah, because
super neutral.
I'm gonna go Creighton, but really I think it's gonna go either way. A team is gonna win in the end.
Very
cover all your bases.
Very not committed pick there, but whatever.
All right, Ty. Creighton or Marquette?
No, I said Creighton.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I think Creighton. It's a must win. I think it's too. It's a really big time.
Nope. If anything, Trent, I was gonna say this game actually isn't as important as what you think, in my eyes.
I think it's a 3-4 game for them. They could either solidify a 3, or they're gonna be a 4 seed when it's all said and done.
That's okay.
Wisconsin versus Illinois, which I can't believe I wrote this down as a big game, but I figure we give some Big Ten some love.
I'll go Illinois.
Yeah, I'm going Illinois too. You know, just for that though, like because recency bias, we should be fading Wisconsin, right? But I'm gonna stay away from that game. But New Mexico, I put this one in here. New Mexico versus Boise State.
Ooh.
Boise State, baby.
I think the Boise State or the Broncos.
They are the Broncos.
I think they're going to make a pretty big push for the tournament. You're right, Trey. I'll give you credit for that.
That's going to be what I want to definitely see the spread.
Picked them to win the Mountain West, fellas.
Yeah, you did. I'll go Boise. I definitely want to see the spread because they're both very close in terms of against the spread in terms of covering.
Okay.
Trent, I have another game you missed out on.
Oh, I have one more.
Okay.
I have one too. If you don't say it, go ahead.
Virginia at Duke.
All right. I go Duke, but that's not the one I had in mind. But yeah, I definitely go Duke.
I'll go Duke too.
Of course, Tyler does. Yeah, I think Duke's going to win. I think they should. They better. But all right. Any other games?
Yes.
Go ahead.
12 o'clock. Going to lead us off on Saturday. Florida, South Carolina.
That was the one I was going to say.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what, Florida's a team nobody talks about.
No one wants to play them either. They can knock you off.
Nobody talks. Yeah, nobody talks about them.
Yeah.
First year head coach.
I think so, right?
Yeah. Where's he from, guys? A little trivia here. Where's he from?
Oh man!
Don't Google it, Tyler. I see you type it. Look at you type it.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, he is.
Ready?
I have like 5 different devices here, but I'm not typing.
I don't know. I'm trying to find it if I can.
We're watching them right now.
Gonzaga.
No, San Francisco. He was the head coach of San Francisco.
Oh, I wouldn't have known that.
There you go. So
I thought he was like an assistant for Gonzaga, Trent.
No, he was the head coach of San Francisco. But
I'll say this though. Well, hold on. We didn't pick that Florida.
I said Florida. I said Florida.
Trent.
Yeah, I watched Florida. I watched them lose recently, and but watching them, they're tough. Like they're athletic as hell. Mm-hmm. So I am going to say right now, I think South Carolina's true colors are showing. So I'm going to say Florida is going to beat them.
Exactly. Yeah, South Carolina's on a skid. The only reason I know anything about Florida is because Owen makes me watch them. So
right,
dude. So yeah, I'm going Florida.
Good.
I didn't realize they were in top 25 recently. I was like, holy crap! I told him, he's like, oh man. I was like, they're probably gonna be in a tournament, dude. So he's gonna be excited. I already told him he's gonna have a bracket and stuff because he's still been a little disappointed since the Niners lost.
Let's bounce back.
The only 7-year-old that actually wants. He's the only 7-year-old I know that wants a DraftKings winter hat to wear to school. And I don't think that's acceptable. I don't think that's acceptable. I was like, what is DraftKings? He goes, that's where you gamble on sports, Dad. I was like, all right. Yeah. We're gonna have a talk.
Yeah. So you can't.
So eventually someday I said, we'll get you on the podcast, dude. He's like, all right, cool.
You better watch what apps or what devices you have DraftKings on, because
seriously,
Dad, I cooked up a 24-leg parlay.
Man, heck yeah! After what he did with Roblox, on my account, just dropping like $100 on Apple, and I'm like, what the hell is this charge?
Did they ever give you that back?
I clicked. I disputed it.
Then what'd they do? Did they like honor it or what?
I got it back from my credit card company.
Oh, okay.
Apple denied my dispute.
Wow.
They gave me the $5 one back, but they denied the 100. Even though I was like, dude, he couldn't read. They're like, doesn't matter. Here's your $5. We're gonna keep the $99 one.
Let's hope the credit bureaus aren't listening.
Well, listen, I disputed it 3 different ways, so not my fault.
Oh man.
All right, guys. Anything else here, boys?
No, I mean, you know what else? Okay, we talk about this March Madness episode, and I'm looking forward to it. But I want to do something similar with the NFL draft. Just the first round. We'll go through every team and who we think they're going to draft in their spots, and I think I'd like to hear your guys' opinion, because I'm telling you what, this is probably the year I've followed the draft and the combine the most, to be honest with you.
Well, I think we all followed college football very, very closely, so I think that helped a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there's certain times where when you don't follow college football, it's like, what are we looking at here?
Yeah, who are these guys?
Yeah. Draft's so hard.
Yeah, but it's for fun.
Yeah,
but
I know.
In reality,
we
give a little hint at what we're going to do next week and wrap this up here, or what, guys?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Give them a little preview, and then we'll see.
Our March Madness episode, we will go through this one. This is not, correct me if I'm wrong, this is not our bracketology one.
No.
This is strictly conference tournaments winners.
Correct.
So we are going to go through every single conference. I think, do we go 100% like every conference?
Yes, we do.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, we hit them all.
So we will start. I think don't we start with a couple of them, and then we are. Yeah, I think we do them all. We got to do them all.
We do them all, baby.
Do them all next week. So we're gonna be grinding through some resources here and coming up with our projections and predictions for conference tournaments. All next episode. So keep an eye out for that. And then I was going to say eventually we will do a bracketology episode where we will seed every single team for the tournament of I guess 68. I mean, it is 68, right?
It is, yep.
Yeah.
So we will completely seed every single team for the bracket.
Keep an eye out for that date because that's still up in the air in terms of when we're going to air that out, because I'm kind of thinking that we release that on Wednesday. So
yeah, we definitely
will. Day before tournament actually starts. But no, what I was going to say, Trent, is keep in mind too, like we'll go, you know, it's going to be obviously a lot of conference and a lot of picks and stuff, but like, it's not going to be dragged out, like, you know, analysis on every single thing. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit, but we'll do some rapid fire stuff too. So that way people can get our picks, and, you know, then we'll also kind of just discuss what some conferences look like. So
yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Let's do it.
Dude, it's gonna be awesome, man. I can't wait. And in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, our audience will have an angel sing into their ears.
That's right.
Little
surprise. Little surprise.
So listen. So 2 weeks. We're gonna go. We're actually going video here. So we'll be talking about what that looks like. We'll be putting things out on social media feeds and things about what our video podcasting is gonna look like. It's still gonna be on Spotify. It's still gonna be on Apple. It's gonna be video though. So you get to see what the Bearded Baker brothers look like. Yeah. So enjoy that. Yeah. But like I said, we'll be putting some teasers out and stuff like that here in the next couple of weeks. So, but 2 weeks, video podcast start. Can't wait. March Madness. Let's go, baby.
Peace,
happy March 1st. I don't know why you had bubbles there, Trent.
Why did you have balloons there?